All right. Okay, we are live. How we do? How we do?
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing happen.
If you guys are tuning in, say hello. Let me know where you're at in the country or the world. Getting stoked for the storm coming in. Wait for a couple people to hop in. Luke, hey. Calgary, nice. What's the weather like up there in Calgary right now, Luke? Carson Evans, what's up, man? LeBron James? No way. I'm just kidding. You probably hear that all the time. Carson, when am I going to hit Snow Basin? I'd say when there's at least like, I want to hit it when there's at least like 60% of the mountain open, maybe more. LeBron, yeah, sorry, that's got to get annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna be session this storm in Washington. Cool. Where are you gonna ride in Washington? Steven, what's up? Close by in Murray, watching the stream whilst doing math homework. Nice. Want me to help quiz you? Do some long division? No, that's not gonna help, I'm sure. But thanks for tuning in, man. That's sick. Hopefully I don't distract you too much. Yeah, MG, what's up? I'll be in PC next month. Sick. Are you gonna ride just in Park City? Park City Resort, that is. Let me know. Baker, cool. Yeah, I need to get up there. I hear good things about Baker. All the resorts are still closed. Dang. Hey, Don Ramsey, aka Donovan, the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, buddy? Yeah, speaking of resorts being closed, we got some more openings coming up. Palomount opens tomorrow, sort of. They're opening one lift, the Sundown lift, so that's kind of cool. And then the following day, they're opening for night riding for the Sundown lift, which they do every year. I guess that's a tradition there. And then the next day they open up for day riding, but I'm pretty sure it's still just Sundown. But yeah, getting back to Snow Basin, I definitely want to ride there soon, but hopefully when a lot of terrain is open and they have good snow. It's been a slow start here this season, especially compared to last season for resorts, but hopefully this storm coming up Friday, Saturday will perform really well, get more of that base ready for resorts to open up terrain. So Snow Basin, probably not for another week or two, I'd say. Maybe even January. I don't have access there unless I get some hookups, and I don't want to overuse those. But we'll definitely be back. Luke says we got 49 centimeters in the week, so it's starting to pick up. Man, what is that in Imperial? I know Imperial is so annoying. I wish we were on the metric system here in the US. 49 centimeters. Okay, I kind of know what that is. It's like a couple feet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a couple of feet. Carson Evans' favorite resort in Utah. I get asked this all the time, and some of you guys probably know. I don't think I have an answer. I will say, like, my first love, I don't know if it's my favorite, but my first love has to be the Bird, because when I first moved here 5 years ago, spent so much time there for the first 2 seasons I worked there, got to know the mountain really well and the terrain. And for just the terrain and snow, you really can't beat the Bird. If you like steep, technical terrain with amazing snow quality, lots of cliffs and stuff like that. It's awesome. But overall, like vibes and like, playfulness, park and stuff, there's a lot of other fun resorts out there. And I'm not a huge park rider, but it's nice to have that option. Now, if the Bird continues doing this Woodward Park that they did last spring and maybe even extends it to like more of the season, then I don't know. It's going to be hard to pass up any time at the Bird. Speaking of which, I didn't have a pass there this season. It's the first season that I haven't had a pass at the Bird, but I think I've got a line on a pass, so I might actually be passed up at the Bird this season. Kind of a surprise last minute thing from one of you guys. They wanted to remain anonymous, so I'll respect that. But I think we're gonna have a Bird pass, so that's super sick. I did have an Icon base pass, so I was rationing my days until now, so that's pretty sick. But yeah, man, there's so many good resorts in Utah. It's really hard to pick a favorite. I mean, I love Brighton. I love Palmau, obviously. We filmed there quite a bit. And Solid's dope. Sundance is awesome, super underrated. And I love Park City. I got to ride Park City and Canyons a lot last season, and it never disappointed, especially just the ease of getting there and the traffic and all that. I talked about that in my Park City review a little bit. But, man, yeah, there's just a lot to offer here. And I can't just pick one. I guess that's the beauty of it. But that's a long-winded answer. Sorry. What else we got here? MG, yes, just PC this trip. Cool. I'll be back for spring and hit up Snowbird. Sweet. Speaking of the Bird and the spring, maybe the Woodward Park will be open then, if you're interested in that or not. I don't know. Sam Lee, you think Sundance finally going to get to open all the lifts after the storm? I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope all the resorts can open up a significant amount of terrain. I feel like most resorts here don't end up opening everything until like the end of December, maybe even like the first week of January, usually on like an average year. Last year, I think things were a lot sooner because we had a substantial amount of snow to do all that. But I'll be surprised if everything is opened after this weekend. There's still a lot of work to do, I think. But yeah, hopefully with this storm coming in, we can get some openings. Don, he's got a hand wave. Like it. Luke, all Banff sunshine. Okay, 1 foot 7 inches. Nice. Sweet. So I was a little off on my estimate of the metrics, but kind of in the ballpark. Stephen Preston, where are you thinking of riding Friday? Looks like it's trending upwards with late Utah blower possible. I know. The latest powder buoy post looks pretty promising. I do kind of have a dilemma because I was thinking about riding this Friday. I want to ride this Friday. I'd love to go to Brighton because they're supposed to open up the new Crest 6, brand new chairlift. But I don't have parking. I don't have a parking reservation for Friday. So I'd have to try to catch the bus. And as we've been talking about lately, if you haven't seen my Brighton video or just following Brighton social, the bus service has been cut back quite a bit this year. So it's going to be challenging to get up there. And I think even like all the carpool reservations and the paid parking reservations are full the last I checked. So I don't know how I'm going to get up there if I do. So I may end up going to the Bird Friday or Solitude. Those are kind of the only other options I've got right now, unless we go to Palmau. But I think I'll wait to go to Palmau or Snow Basin for that matter until they have more snow. I want to take advantage of those resorts when they get a little bit more open because it's probably pretty bare bones at Palmau, especially for opening. I'm guessing. Yeah. X-Rap, is that how you say it? I don't know. Bro, it's gonna be Brighton. Yeah, I mean, haven't done the Bird yet. Bird is dope. It's definitely completely different than Brighton, but I love both those resorts. Um, Donovan's gotta say, yeah, Pall Mall is your favorite. It's awesome. It's definitely awesome. I'm gonna be at Pall Mall this season, but I don't know how much. It's looking like I might not be able to get a full pass from them this year, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I think they're gonna hook me up with some comp passes when I'm up there filming. So stoked to be there. It's hard to beat Pall Mall, especially on like a weekend deep day when other places are crowded. It's great to get up there, even though it's a bit farther. X Wrap. If you ever get to Durango, go to Purgatory. Nice size mountain and pretty cheap, $40 a day. Ooh, wow. Okay, that's darn good for Purgatory. I never thought I'd say like I want to go to Purgatory, but Purgatory doesn't sound too bad. Gary, so tough to decide on a pass in SLC. Don't know what I'd do if I live up there. Yeah, it is tough. I think that's why a lot of people are going like the Icon or the Epic route, just because it gives you, well, at least with the Icon, it gives you some options. And in the Cottonwoods, you're not tied to just one place. You are pretty limited with the number of days you get in, places besides Solitude. But I think that's why a lot of people are doing that. I love the local passes though, because you can get a lot more days. Usually some perks that you wouldn't get with the Mega Pass. And then with Epic, you only get Park City here, but it's such a good deal compared to their day passes, especially. And I've talked about this before, but Park City in Kansas is so big that you really could just spend a whole season there exploring and having each day be different. So it's quite the dilemma. I mean, then you got Sundance, which is really great, especially if you live a little further down south in Provo and you're closer to Sundance. Sundance is really fun. Yeah, and further north, you got the other resorts. That's why the Silver Gold Pass is pretty dope if you can shell out the money for it. What else we got here? Gary says Wolf Creek is greater than Purgatory. Durango is an awesome town, though. Ooh, okay. I think Purgatory just said some fighting words. It's funny because when I hear Wolf Creek, I know there's one in Colorado, but there's like a Wolf Creek lodge here between Pall Mall and Nordic Valley, which is weird. Every time I hear that. Anyway, MG says gonna come out to California this season. Mammoth. If I do, I would love to go late season, especially if resorts start to close down here. Like if Mammoth has a good year. Last year was pretty busy for me being a new dad. So it was kind of out of the question to travel over the summer. But I would have loved to go to Mammoth, in the summer months because they were open all the way until August, I think, right? But mid-season, it's just a lot more practical for me to stay local here in Utah right now. As Arthur gets older and our family gets a little bit more flexible, then maybe I'll start to venture outside of Utah. I know you guys asked for a lot of, you guys request me going to a lot of places outside of Utah, and I want to, believe me. So down the road, yes. Mid-season, probably not. And maybe this summer, we'll see. Carson says the parking situation is stupid. Yeah. I don't know if you're referring to one specific resort. Can you clarify? If we're talking about Brighton, it seems like they've got some growing pains to figure out right now. I don't know if any of you guys tried to get parking at Brighton when they first launched the parking reservation system, but I was on the road. I was working my summer job at the time still, and I pulled over, tried to get online, and man, the internet connection or whatever just was not working. But I think it was just a huge bottleneck of everybody trying to reserve spots. And yeah, it took me like half an hour to get like 2 or 3 reservations. So that was a huge mess. But I was hoping it would get better. They say they release more reservations every Sunday, but I've kind of missed the boat on that too. So right now I've got like I think 3 reservations at Brighton in the next week. But yeah, I really want to get there Friday. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll take the Canyon shuttle or something. I mentioned that in my Brighton review video. I think it's like $10 round trip, but I don't know exactly how it works. I think they pick you up wherever, or maybe they have like certain spots they pick you up. If any of you guys know, drop a comment about the Canyon shuttle service. They started it last year. But I heard some pretty good things from people about it. So maybe that's an option. Or just tough it out waiting in line for a bus and hope that at the bus stop the buses show up on time and they're not already full. Steve and Preston, we got to get Dan on some skis for a bit. What about the split board? Does that count? The split board and split mode? That's skis pretty much, especially if we get, a little bit of downhill sections in there while traversing. Speaking of which, some of you guys have asked for more split boarding videos, and I want to, man. But I mentioned this on my last live stream last Wednesday. But the backcountry is sketch right now. I saw a post from Utah Abbey Center today, and it was crowns breaking everywhere, going straight down to the ground, and just really, really bad. Just sugary snow, persistent weak layer. So it's going to be a while, I think, before we get into the backcountry, unless we do something really mellow. And who knows, if crowds start to build up, maybe we'll do that on a video. But skis for a video, I don't know, man. I haven't been on skis in 25 years, and I have nothing but love for skiers and my skier buddies, but it is just not my jam. Snowboarding's cooler. And it just, I don't know, feels more natural. But I wouldn't rule it out if there's enough demand for that. MG, how's it being a dad now? Dude, it's awesome. It's been quite a roller coaster of emotions and being tired and, all kinds of different things for the first like 4 months, especially. Last season, guys, was rough. It was rough on our family, and it was rough on board progression. There were days for like 2 or 3 months where I was out riding and filming on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep from the night before. So that's really rough in the beginning, but just all the experiences that you get to see from his perspective for the first time. Like, I've heard people talk about this, but it's really cool seeing it firsthand, like him experiencing the world for the first time with just simple things is so cool to see. And it's kind of like, oh, this is probably what it was like when I was a kid. So it's been awesome, especially like the last 6 months. Super cool. Just his personality gets better every day. He can stand now while holding on to something. So pretty soon he'll be walking, and then he'll probably be on a little ground board. But yeah, it's super sick. I love being a dad, and maybe we'll try to have another kid. We'll have to see, but it would be awesome to plan it so that he's born or she's born in the off season. Because Arthur was born like right at the start of the season last year in November. So that was kind of tough, but super grateful he came when he did. He's awesome. But yeah, Keith, Eric Davidson, what's up, Dan? I'm in Long Beach. Sweet. but headed to SLC every winter. I actually grew up in DC. Oh, cool. But bounced to Colorado in 92 to shred after a season at Whitetail. Nice. That's awesome, man. Yeah, DC and Baltimore. Whitetail, that was one of the spots. I've ridden there quite a lot. From like the trio of resorts that are closest to DC. There's Whitetail, Liberty, and Round Top, and Whitetail was kind of like the bigger one, like the one with more vertical. It was like, I don't know, 900 something feet, maybe close to 1,000 feet versus not vertical, sorry, elevation versus the other resorts. But that's cool. I wonder what made you bounce from Colorado to Southern California, Long Beach. That's quite a difference, but yeah, if you're getting here every winter, that makes sense. It's pretty cool that, yeah, you can hop on a pretty quick flight to get here from Southern California. But yeah, Whitetail, they've gone epic now too, which is crazy. All those little resorts, those little mom and pop resorts are getting bought up by Epic, which is kind of strange. Haven't been back there in 5 years, maybe 6 years. So I wonder what that's like now. Gary says, if you ever got to take the 972, 994, pick it up at Fort Union Station and Historic Sandy, respectively, and not the parking lots going into the canyon. Yeah. You'll actually get a seat. Yeah, that's really your only chance, I think, especially if it's a PAL day, a busy day. I kind of got spoiled a couple years ago. Salka and I were living in Cottonwood Heights, pretty close to Fort Union, and I could just walk to the bus stop. And I was at a stop that was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 stops before the canyon parking lots. And I don't think I ever really had an issue with a full bus. But yeah, post-COVID, and after we moved, I haven't been that close to a bus stop. So it's a little bit more of a hassle to drive the car there, park the car there, which I don't love, leaving a car in like a public lot all day long. It's kind of a target for theft. But I don't know. We'll have to figure something out this year, and maybe we'll try the bus system. But I agree. Don't park that close to the canyons, or there's no way you'll get a bus that has a seat, or even you might just get refused to come on. They might have to say, oh, you got to wait for another bus because we're full, even when it's standing room only. So all board, no breaks. Dude, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in last week to the live chat. Love your name again. Stoked to see that you guys are getting tons of snow. Yes. Yeah, we're so spoiled here, but I feel like saying, oh, finally we're getting snow. But then I know so many of you guys are on the East Coast or other places where you're like, we don't get anything, and our season doesn't start until like after Christmas. But it feels like it's been a very long fall for us, and winter's like just now arriving, especially compared to last year. So we'll take it. Super grateful for any snow we can get. But I mentioned it in the Solitude opening day video. I still have a blast, even when there's like 7 inches of base, all man-made snow, and only, a couple trails open. Riding is just fun. Like, no matter the conditions, no matter how much is open, I'm just grateful to be on a snowboard whenever I can. But it's nice that we're getting some snow. Stephen Preston, deeper question, but what do you think you would say 5-ish years ago if you knew where the channel is at now? Love seeing the channel growth. It deserves more. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. I think I would tell myself 5 years ago to be patient and embrace the process of learning. And, that applies for any stage of life, obviously. But I kind of came out here all bright-eyed and thinking, after a season, maybe 2, I'd get up to like 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers or something like that. And here we are 5 years in, and I'm not even at 20, but we're getting there. But yet I'm so grateful for everything I've learned along the way. And I've been fortunate enough that I am able to keep doing this. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. But yeah, I think expectations are always tricky, right? Because you have something set up in your mind on how things are going to go. But just numbers alone, yeah, I expected to blow up a little bit more. But as far as everything else goes, like the experiences I've had, the connections I've made, the friends we've made, uh, getting to know some of you guys, it's just been amazing. Never could have really expected that or known what that was going to be like. And stuff like getting hooked up from GoPro, free cameras from GoPro, and the glove deal I have with Vio and Eric, having my own signature board from Lunar that I helped build from the ground up. That literally I wouldn't change a single thing about it. It's insane. I mean, I could go on, but yeah, those are the things that if I told my 35-year-old self, I probably would be like, what? No way. So thanks for the question. Definitely don't mind a deeper question. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the progression. Damiano Giatano. Sorry if I didn't say that correctly. Love the content, bro. First time out west, headed to Solitude and Brighton in January. Stumbled upon your channel, doing research. Sweet. I like to hear that. Home base is Sugarbush, Vermont, but stoked to hit some Utah snow. Awesome, dude. Well, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Glad you were able to find some content doing research. Hopefully it helps. I don't do a whole lot of, guided touring of resorts and stuff, but I like to think that my videos give you an idea of what it's like to ride with a certain vibe of places and that kind of thing. And I hope it just gets you stoked. Like, that's the biggest goal I want, is for people to get really excited and fired up to go shred. So very cool. I don't think I've ever been to Sugarbush. I've been to Vermont a bunch. Went to Killington, James Peak, Mount Snow, Okemo, but yeah, I haven't been to Sugarbush. Ice Coast has been rough the last few. Yeah. It seems like East Coast always gets hammered when West Coast doesn't, and vice versa. Our last 2 seasons have been pretty good. Well, our season before last wasn't as epic as the last one, obviously, but yeah, hopefully you guys get some good precipitation this year from El Nino. McHotterson's, yo, what's up, man? Haven't heard from you in a minute. It's good to hear from you, buddy. Just need a few more snowstorms to get me out there. I need a few more runs so I don't feel claustrophobic as a weekend warrior. Yeah, I feel that. Me personally, as soon as there's some snow to ride, I want to get on it, even if it's a patch of, some flat section or something, dust on crust, whatever. By the way, where are you riding at this season? Are you at Park City, or you doing anything in the canyons or Icon or something? Let me know. MG says, any collabs planned this season? Nothing like too strictly scheduled, but I will say I recently just talked to Kevin from Snowboard Pro Camp a little bit. He's in Utah right now, and he said he'd be down to get together and ride. So hopefully we'll be doing something with Snowboard Pro Camp, which is pretty sick. Been following him forever, honestly. Probably like a lot of you guys, that was like the first YouTube channel I ever saw. Had a huge inspiration on me doing what I'm doing. So it would be pretty rad to ride with him. In fact, Alex, who you guys know from the videos probably, he got to ride with him at the Bird 2 days ago. Casey Willax was there, and Daly apparently. I wasn't able to make up to the mountain that day, but Alex got to shred with all those guys, so that's cool. And maybe if Casey's back in town, I'm not sure where the Narvi is headed next, but if they're back in town, maybe I'll link up with him or Daly. Daly's always down to ride. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Let me know what you guys would like to see me and Kevin ride from Snowboard Pro Camp. I think he's new to Utah, so everything he's doing here is a new experience, which is pretty cool. It's always fun to ride a place that you're familiar with somebody who isn't familiar with it, who's got like fresh eyes. Nick Hodderson's, my kid has 2 soccer practices on Saturday at 9 and 10, so I am super limited, unfortunately, this year. Yeah, it's a bummer, especially if you're limited to weekends. Icon base pass, so Cottonwoods, mostly Solitude since my 8-year-old comes with me every other time. Nice. You're kind of in the same boat as Austin. I mean, I think he rides a little more than that, but Austin's got a soon-to-be 4-year-old, and he'll go up to Solitude with her a bunch. Yeah, although I think he took her at a Snowbird, and they got on the Chickadee lift recently. Yeah. How much is it supposed to snow? LF Productions. I think they're claiming like 10 to 14 inches in the Cottonwoods. I haven't really looked at the latest totals, but it's looking good. I just saw Powder Buoy's latest post today, and he said that it's looking better than he expected. So that's encouraging. The latest projected totals, but I think it was like 10 to 14 by Saturday. So hopefully it goes like double that. That would be awesome. Either way, it's going to be really good. Just, I kind of said this last week, but it's going to be really good for resorts to open up terrain. There's so much that's dependent on natural snowfall just to get a decent base. These places are so big, it would just cost way too much money to blow snow to cover everything. So once there's, like a 50-inch base, 60-inch base, I think we'll start to see a lot of terrain opening, which is great. And that's so important right now with the backcountry being as sketchy as it is. I mean, even if avalanche conditions weren't bad, there's so many sharks out there in the backcountry. We need resort riding right now. That's my opinion anyway. Steven Preston says, any group channel meetups planned this year? Always fun to take a few laps. Yes, I haven't put anything down on paper, but I want to do something with Icon Pass. So maybe Solitude, which might be the easiest for everybody to link up at, but with the parking situation, maybe the Bird's a better move. I'll probably put out a poll soon, trying to ask you guys where you'd like to meet up. But I'm thinking after the holidays, maybe January or February, probably at the latest, we should do a meetup. And then I may try to do a day at Park City for anybody who's got an Epic Pass. As I mentioned, I don't have an Epic Pass, but I do have a connection there. So I should be able to get a day or two there, hopefully. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'll post something more official as we get closer to January, probably in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that'd be sick. And in the meantime, if you guys run into me, definitely say hi organically. McCotterson says, yeah, Link at Solitude is great. Dude, Link was awesome on opening day at Solitude. I know they usually don't have park features on it, but it's a good beginner run. The Bird is a bit aggressive, but that's the Bird. The Bird claims that their beginner slope Chickadee is the steepest bunny slope in North America. I've never fact checked that, but it's definitely the steepest I've ever seen for a bunny slope. It's good and it's bad. I mean, it's good because it teaches you to pick up speed and work with some of like the banks it has naturally and whatnot. But Solitudes is like a nice evenly grade It's like a nice even pitch the whole way. And I think it's really good for learning. It's pretty wide. But yeah, it's not too flat. Man, growing up on the East Coast, when we would go to Pennsylvania, the beginner slopes were either way too flat and they were graded like left to right or right to left. So fall line would just like push you off of the bunny slope. Liberty, I'm looking at you. Or they'd be too steep. And not like bird steep, but just like part of another run that was like an intermediate or something like that. And anyway, yeah, I think that's a great place to teach people if you're gonna have beginners. Yeah, you said having a hard time getting him down the other runs, but may pay for ski school. So I'm not teaching him how to ski. I'm learning skiing with him. Nice. Going to the dark side, I see. I guess I shouldn't say dark side with my lunar. But yeah, I can't recommend enough getting somebody else to teach your kids for like two reasons. One, the instructors hopefully have really good training and they know fundamentals. They know multiple methods of teaching, whether it's like visual learning, cognitive learning, learning by feel, stuff like that. They just have so many things in their tool bag. And then relatives, whether it's kids, spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends, we just don't seem to do well learning snowboarding or skiing when it's somebody that we know well, in my opinion. I think we listen to people a lot more when it's somebody who is a stranger, but kind of in a position of a little bit of authority over us, or, certainly something that you paid for. And then with kids, I think that's just elevated even more. They might be a little more intimidated and they feel like, okay, we should listen to this guy. So I recommend getting lessons. It might, cost a bit up front, but you'll be glad you invested in that. It'll save you so much time and headache. And then also, if the child, especially, I think, doesn't like it, then they won't associate it with you. They might associate it with the stranger, versus if, they don't like it, they might associate that with you for the rest of their life. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about too much, but that's my 2 cents. LF Productions. Yeah, I've been riding Solitude and they only have like 3 lifts open still. Yeah, I saw they opened Apex and I don't think they opened what's the other one? Powder something? Powderhorn. I don't think they opened Powderhorn. By the way, did you guys see that video? I think it made it to Jerry of the day. The other day it was like, I want to say it was Sunday when we had all that really dense snow, and there were just people down left and right, coming from Apex down to Powderhorn's chair. It was pretty hilarious, but it was like fallen soldiers everywhere, just stuck in the snow. Let me know if any of you guys saw that. It was pretty funny. Dave FS, best way to catch Dan is seeing him and the boys zipping by. I mean, truthfully, yeah, and if you say hi, I'll stop. But that's, yeah, most likely way to catch me. I'm so spontaneous. I wish I could like have a mapped out schedule of every day where I'm riding, and I'd let you guys know in advance. But yeah, that's a good way. Looking forward to getting some laps in this season at B-Town, hoping the parking reservation issue isn't a problem. See you, brother. Yeah, me too. It's still kind of in its infancy, the parking. So hopefully things get better. I think Brighton's going to have to do something. There is a ton of backlash, it looks like, on their Instagram from people not being able to get parking, especially on the weekends, and people saying that, they bought their pass and they can't ride until January or end of January right now. I think maybe, I don't know if they can afford to release as many parking spaces, but I think they should be doing it daily versus every week on Sunday. But maybe there's just not enough. A couple years ago, when it was like the first year after COVID, the Bird had parking reservations, and I'd say like 60% of the time you wanted to ride like the night before, you might have been able to get a spot. So it wasn't too bad. But the Bird has a lot more parking. It's a bigger resort, so maybe that's why. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like maybe they should have done like a paid parking system without reservations this year, as much as I hate paid parking, and kind of tested the waters with that, and then maybe implemented a reservation system, like for some of the spots, or added that next year or something. But I don't know. They just went straight into paid parking, and you have to have a reservation no matter what, even if it's free if you're a pass holder. I don't know. Yeah, they got to do something. It's not great right now. Chris Hungenberg, 2 days on the Epic Pass over the next couple weeks, and gonna be in Colorado. Where would you go? Man, I don't have that much experience in Colorado. I did Breck years ago, but it was like one of the first few years that Epic Pass was a thing, and it was great. It was awesome, but I honestly don't even remember what else is on Epic Pass. Fail, obviously, but yeah, I wish I had a better suggestion for you. If anybody knows some good spots, check out, chime in. Gary, Eagle, and Powderhorn should open up at Solly after this next storm? Question mark. I think probably. Yeah, I wonder if Eagle's finished. It's got to be by now, I would think. They were working on it over the summer. And my buddy Anthony, you guys know him from a bunch of videos, probably last season especially. He was in a ton. He's working there as a lift op, and he was working on Eagle. So I hope it opens. And that's an upgrade, I think. It's supposed to be faster or more seats or something. I don't know. They were doing something with Eagle that they needed to retire the old chair. And yeah, Powderhorn. I think so. Yeah, I don't think Summit will open unless we get like hammered. But I think everything on the front side should open. Yeah. McCotterson's snowboard on POW days, ski with kids, and future mogul days. Yeah. Or maybe you mean on mogul days. But yeah, a lot of people do that. Anybody who's ambidextrous, skis and snowboard, a lot of people say definitely hit the board on a POW day and skis on like the firmer days. I mean, on those firm, crusty days, it's probably pretty nice having 4 edges total instead of just 2. But man, just skiing, you got all that stuff. Like the boots are so clunky and uncomfortable and cold, and then you got all the poles, and it's just like too much to hold, in my opinion. But yeah, to each their own. Apex Moonbeam Link, McHotterson says. Are you saying that's what's open right now? I think so. Yeah, that's what my understanding is of what's open. As far as teaching little kids to ski goes, no double black diamond burns the thighs as much as a little kid between skiing. Yeah, I could see that. At least if you're on skis, I will say, like, you know, the kids can kind of stand between your feet. Snowboarding doesn't really work if you're holding a little guy. I mean, you can hold them like face to face if you're, you know, on your heel edge and they're on their toe edge. But I guess you can do it reverse too if you're downhill and they're uphill. But it's not quite as easy to do like the puppeteering teaching of little guys. When I was teaching at the Bird, they had some pretty cool vests though that had big, like, hefty handles on the back of the vest, and it was awesome for the little groms that were like 5 or 6 years old. You could just kind of grab it and just lift them up and like put them wherever you wanted to. So that was pretty cool. Might have to get one of those for Arthur. Dave FS, spot on with having instructor for kids. Yep. Lowers the stress for all involved. Totally. Plus the kids don't have to worry about feeling like they're disappointing dad or mom. That's another good point. Yeah. In addition to them, maybe potentially hating skiing or snowboarding, they might just, be really stressed out, worried that they're disappointing mom or dad, especially if you got, like the soccer mom or soccer dad that's, pushing them and shouting at them. I never understood that anyway, but even if you're not just like, shouting at your kids and stuff to do well, they might just be subconsciously worried about disappointing him. So that's another great reason to have an instructor. And just the wealth of knowledge they have, even if they've only been doing it for a couple seasons, is going to be better than most of us. They're putting chairs on Eagle today, says McHotterson's. All right. That's kind of surprising. I guess they had a ton of work to do, laying out the lines and everything. I know Anthony said, like, I want to say 3 weeks ago, whenever opening day was, for Link, they were splicing the line. Now, I don't know a whole lot about lift stops, but that sounds like something in the early stage, not like, oh, we're going to open in a week. So maybe they've still got quite a bit of work to do. By the way, it's kind of weird, isn't it, that Brighton said that Crest was done testing like last Friday, and it's been like a full week and they're not open yet. Do you guys think that's weird? I know they said that they need a lot of snow, and I was talking to a friend of mine, Tom, at the Bird about Peruvian Open, and he said they used all the snow that they could just to build a ramp, and then there's not enough snow to, get you onto the ramp. So you would have to step up like 4 feet or something. And he's just like, we just need a ton more snow. So I get that if that's what's going on with Crest, like they just really need a lot more. But it's weird when other resorts had similar lifts open. Anyway, it opens Friday, so it is what it is. CB, hi, just joined the chat. Welcome, dude. Glad you could drop in. If I can't get a car park at Brighton, public buses up Big Cottonwood Canyon. How was it last weekend in storms? CBPS, great channel. Thanks for efforts. Sweet. CB, I'm not sure what you mean by CB. Or are you just saying your name? Last weekend at the Bird was actually surprising. Now, I have a feeling Brighton wasn't so great, and Solitude might have fared better because they had a couple lifts open. But at Brighton, it was a pleasant surprise that after like first tram, it was walk-on. Well, not walk-on, that's not true. But it was like maybe a 10 to 15 minute wait for each tram. After the first one, there was delayed openings at the Bird. It was only a 30-minute delay, but Zoom and the tram both opened at 9:30, and it was like 45 minutes after that before I'd say I got to the top of the tram, and then each run after that wasn't too bad. And Zoom's lift lines weren't too bad, although I don't think I actually got down there. I just heard that they weren't bad. So that was encouraging for only 2 lifts open on like the first deep day of the season. By the way, I'm editing that video right now, trying to put it out Friday. So stay tuned for that, but you guys will see what it was like last weekend. And spoiler alert, it wasn't everywhere, but there were pockets where I was like waist deep. It was awesome to say the least. So stoked to put that video out. But yeah, big cottonwood. I'm not sure how it was, but it looked like from just what I saw online, like that line at Majestic for Brighton was just insane, which makes sense if it's the only lift open on a weekend, first big powder day of the season, and it's an all fixed grip. Like that's rough. But with Crest being open, they're saying it's the fastest lift in the cottonwoods. Hopefully that alleviates some congestion. And then maybe Solitude will open up Powderhorn. So it should be, I think, better overall than last weekend. Once we get to like Christmas week, that's when the crowds start to pile on a bit, unfortunately. LF Productions. Yeah, so for the parking situation, what happens if you can't find a spot? You just leave and drive back down the canyon? No, for Brighton, technically, if you get up there without a reservation, they'll fine you, I think, $70, even if you just find a spot, because it might look like there's spots available depending on when you get there, but theoretically there's supposed to be, a limited number, and they're going to be walking around the parking lot checking your license plate, and if you don't have your license plate registered with the parking system, then they'll write you a ticket, I guess. But I haven't heard a ton of feedback on how that's going, so I would not recommend just driving up and trying to find a spot, because you'll find a spot, but you'll also find probably a ticket on your car at the end of the day. Now, if you want to spend $70 on parking or whatever it is, maybe it's 80, I think it's 70, then I guess that's an option. But probably not a great one. Jacob says, yes, unfortunately, you have to drive back down. Well, again, if you're talking about the other resorts, specifically like the Bird or Alta, but I think Alta has a reservation system now too, and Solitude. Well, Solitude has reservations on the weekend. During the week, it's just paid parking. So, yeah, I guess that's what's got to happen. And there were talks about the town of Brighton starting to ticket or charge for street parking, like on Big Cottonwood Road, but I haven't seen any signs or anything about that being implemented. If anybody knows about that, drop a comment. Gary, you can pay for parking at Solitude and take the bus up and back as a last resort. Yeah, I've heard people do that. Yeah, I've heard of people parking at Solitude and then taking the bus from there. But I wonder, do the buses always do that? I don't know. Pipe in if anybody's done that. I'm wondering if the buses always stop there. It seems like there's got to be something that would discourage people from doing that. Like the bus would be too full. I don't know. Jacob says public bus is better if you don't get up early. If you don't get up early, do you mean like later in the day? Like midday, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock? Because theoretically by then, parking's going to free up. And after 1 o'clock, Brighton's parking's free. And I think Solitude's is too, either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. But if you're not if you're trying to ride by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, I feel like you gotta get out early to try to catch a bus that's not full or just be stuck in traffic. CB, great ideas below, and glad to hear crowds pretty good. Look forward to that video. Sweet. Yeah, me too. LF Productions says, can't even street park it. I'm not sure. That's the thing. Even the news, I think, covered it, saying that this season you weren't going to be able to. from like everywhere from Solitude up to Brighton on the road. But maybe I just haven't been paying enough attention. I haven't seen signs or anything saying that you can't yet. And it was supposed to be the town of Brighton that was going to enforce that, not the resorts, because I guess that's their jurisdiction. But kind of lame, especially if the snowbanks on the road aren't really preventing you from parking safely on the shoulder. So I don't know. To me, it just sounded like a money grab. Thinly veiled a little bit by the town saying, oh, it'll alleviate congestion. But I'll try to find out more information about that and then update you guys. Stephen Preston did a little research and was stunned to find that the crest capacity is going down from 2,800 to 2,400 people per hour. Yeah, this has been like popping up in comments on Brighton's posts. And I would love to know, I would love to hear this statistic backed up by somebody who actually like has worked on the lift or operates the lift. It just doesn't seem to make any sense if it's true. There is like a website out there that has lift statistics, but I don't know how accurate it is. And if that's like, if that's, you know, a statistic for when Crest, the original Crest quad, is like hauling at its maximum speed versus what they typically run on an average busy day. It just seems like there's got to be something there that's not really adding up because they spent a ton of money to upgrade it. They're talking about how much faster it is and how it seats 6. And obviously, apparently fewer chairs evens out advantages of the faster lift and bigger chairs. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't make any sense though. For like an investment, why would you do it then? You know? And even Brighton, when they posted that statistic about the number of people per hour, they're like an astonishing 2,800 people per hour. Which, if that's true about the old stats, then it's not very astonishing. So I feel like there's something missing there that we're just not really getting. I feel like if it's not busy, it's got to be faster, right? Unless it just takes longer to load, you know, with the conveyor belt and all that. Yeah, doesn't add up to me. Stephen Preston wondering if the replacement was really just a marketing promo and won't actually help lines. That's a heck of a expensive marketing promo, though. You know, like I understand the logic of that decision, unless Doppelmayr just sort of pulled one over on them, saying like, "Yeah, this is going to be awesome. You guys will be the first lift or the first one in Utah to have a lift like this." And then like quietly, that statistic just wasn't talked about. I don't know. Barry P. Hi, y'all. Just editing kayak fishing in the mid-Atlantic and figured I'd listen in as I work. Sweet. Waiting for the goods over here. Par for the course. Our area isn't cooperating. I figure mid-Atlantic. Yeah, mid-Atlantic is where my heart's at. My roots. Yeah. Kayak fishing. That's cool. Kayak fishing like from a lake or from river. Fly fishing. I don't know a ton about fishing, but I've done some in the past, and it's fun. Yeah, good luck, man. I hope you guys get hit with something soon. Or at least just cold temps, right? On the mid-Atlantic side of the country, it's more just about like consistent cold temps and the right humidity to make snow to get something open versus natural snow. Gary, there might be issues with on-hill capacity issues, and that's the issue with lift capacity. On-hill capacity issues, meaning like Can you clarify on that? Are you saying more of the problem is how many people are like on the slopes versus on the chairs? I think that's what you're saying. Chris Albucher, when you're dropping a snowbird review video? Good question, man. Probably before Christmas. So yeah, in like the next 2 weeks, I think I'm going to be doing the snow basin video next, probably. They've been open a little bit longer, I think like a week longer than the bird. So we'll do them next. Snowbird will be, I won't say the last video review, but one of the last. Yeah, stoked for that one. It's going to take me a while. The Brighton one took a while because I got so much archival footage that I was going through for like B-roll. And I probably have the most footage from the bird of all the resorts. So it's going to take a while, but I'm stoked to be doing that one. Yeah, let me know if you guys are stoked on any other reviews that you want to see besides the Snow Basin one. That's probably going to be next. LF Productions, where are you going to be this weekend if the storm hits? You're talking about that. I'm not sure, but if I can't get parking at Brighton and I don't do like the Canyon shuttle service or something like that, I'll probably be at the Bird just for being able to drive up there. I really hope they can open P-Dog. If they can open up Peruvian, Bird's going to be firing. I love Peruvian. So yeah, possibly there. That's probably the most likely place I'll be, but sure would love to be hitting the new Crest chair at Brighton Friday. So we'll see. And then, you know, one of the advantages of living here is maybe I'll just look at the totals the morning of and decide where I'm going to ride. That's what I often do. I'll look at the forecast the night before and then the morning when I wake up at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. and see who's claiming the most. And if it's Big Cottonwood or Little Cottonwood, I'll go to either or. But man, that's so much harder to do now with the parking reservation system in Big Cottonwood. So hope that kind of answers the question. Stephen Preston says, all good points, Dan. We will hope for a good Crest 6 experience. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully it'll make up for some of the experience going on with the parking right now. Yeah, I got good feelings about it. I don't know about the conveyor belt. It seems like a lot of people fall in conveyor belts at like Park City and stuff. But I think overall it's going to be good. Yeah. Barry P. River Smallmouth. Man, why can't I say that? River Smallmouth is the focus. Smallmouth bass. Cool. I've definitely done some smallmouth bass fishing and bigmouth around Maryland. It's been a long time since I've done it, but that's awesome. Good stuff. Good times. It's 9:04, so we will probably wrap this up, guys. We've been going for about an hour. If you got any other questions, let me know. Yeah, hit the thumbs up too. Spam the comment section with some snowboarders or skiers if you guys are snowboarding and skiing. And let's see if we can just get the comment section jumping a little bit before we go. And then ask some real questions. If you got any. Yep, more people on the slopes than the master plan allotted for. Saving the best for last? Question mark, hint, hint. Maybe. Yeah, I won't say that the best one's going to be last. So it's not necessarily in that order. Hey, man, are you guys going to review Sundance Resort? Yes. I am definitely going to review Sundance. Love Sundance. Yeah, I don't know if I'll get to Sundance this year. Last year I had the Silver Pass, so that made it a bit easier. And I knew some friends and stuff who had passes there, but one of them was Trace, and he moved away. So maybe I'll just reach out to Sundance's marketing and see if they can do something for us this year to get some more time at Sundance. But definitely doing a Sundance review. That'll probably be soon. Jacob, I saw Casey Willicks and his crew riding all over the bird on Monday. I love how stoked he is. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wish I could have been there. Yeah, the guy's full of stoke, especially if Overstoker's with him. Always a fun time with those guys, and just putting out good content and good vibes. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder what the conditions were like. Pipe in and let me know if it was like pretty dense, like chunky soup, or there was some pow. But with the storm coming in upside down last weekend, I wonder what that was like. Everyone hit the like button on the way out. Appreciate that, Barry P. I'm not seeing snowboards and ski icons in here though, guys. That's okay. Yeah, hit that like button. We got time for one or two more questions if you got them. Also, guys, I mentioned this in the last live stream, but if you guys are cool with this time frame, I'm going to try to do these every week around the same time. But if you'd prefer a different time or day, let me know. Yeah, that's the question you just asked. Damiano, how often do you put on these live chats? I'm trying to do them every Wednesday right now. That's a good day for me, middle of the week. But again, let me know if this time doesn't work for you guys, but I'm trying to do Wednesdays at 8. Stephen Preston, love the reviews, but they're too positive. Remember, we don't want more people here. Got to head out, but thanks for the live stream. Sick. Cool, man. There we go. Dave put some skiers in there. Sweet. Yeah, Stephen, I know, like, I got to be honest, though, and I love all the resorts. I mean, even Alta and Deer Valley, like, I spent the least time at Deer Valley. Okay, I've toured there, and I've toured at Alta, but I won't say that they're bad, but I will say, like, in the star ranking system, there's like, up to 5 stars available. There's some resorts that are getting 3 stars out of 5. We just haven't posted any of those reviews yet. But a lot of 4 stars and a lot of 5 stars. Speaking of 4 stars, Brian Head got 4 stars, but if any of you guys watched that video, notice I left the 5-star graphic up by accident on the screen. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing for anybody. But yeah, I feel you. We want people coming to Utah, but we don't at the same time here at Board Progression. Yeah, it's a tough double-edged sword, man. Like, trying to keep this place from getting overcrowded, but being stoked on it at the same time, especially when I'm partnering with resorts and stuff. Kind of have to be positive somewhat. So even the negatives will put in there when they're there, but mostly overall, I try to be positive in an honest way. Jacob, I was heavy, but it rode good. Love your content. Was heavy. Sorry. Obviously, you're saying it was heavy. I don't think you were heavy, but it rode good. Yeah, I heard it was kind of like Cascade concrete a little bit, Pacific Northwest snow. Heavy and dense, but fun. Over the past weekend. Hopefully this storm comes in right side up and we'll get a more of that classic Utah pow where it's dense on the bottom as it starts to come in and bonds to the last layer and then gets lighter and fluffier at the top. All right, guys, there we go. There's a couple snowboarders and snowflakes. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I think we'll wrap it up unless anybody's got another question or two. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And stoked to be posting the next video. As I mentioned, it's Snowbirds opening weekend, POW. I wanted to upload it sooner, but it'll be out by Friday. And what else? I guess that's it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep progressing in anything and everything you're doing. We'll be back here next Wednesday. And until then, pray for snow. All right, guys.